WAOH is brought to you in part by Jumpstart Video, online at jumpstartvideo.com.
Welcome back. We are here with Kevin Waise from Exactly Real Estate, and thanks for taking the time to come up.
Thanks for having me.
So how long have you been in real estate, and what would you say is your area of expertise?
I've been in real estate since I was real young. My grandmother was a real estate agent, so I would drive around with her to all the open houses. This was before the internet, so
Right.
you know, that was all that stuff. But we started Exactly Real Estate in 2018. So we've been around since 2018. Our office right now is in Fairlawn.
Okay. You started here in downtown Akron? And
Yeah, we started here at 209 South Main Street, right next to Lockview, and then we ended up moving out of there as our office got bigger with more agents, more people, and so now we're in Fairlawn.
And I'm sure you work with buyers and sellers.
We do.
And the idea of what is unique about our market? Are most of your work within maybe a 30-mile radius of here, let's say, Summit County? You get into Cuyahoga County, I'm sure, or Stark? Or
Yep.
What's your
Summit County mainly, and then Medina County, parts of Cuyahoga, and Stark County.
What are the trends in our area that you see? Or what are, certainly, Northeast Ohio is looking pretty good right now. This is a great place to call home.
Yeah.
One trend I think of course, is a lot of our family members moving back from Florida or different life. Certainly in the past decade, there's been a lot of life-changing events in our world. But what do you see as the trends in real estate?
Well, with the cold weather, I would consider moving to Florida as opposed to moving back from Florida to here right now. But right now in Northeast Ohio is really a great time. It's still a seller's market. Last year in the United States, there were 4 million houses sold. A normal number would have been about 6 million. So we're down considerably. There's still not enough houses on the market, and sellers are able to capitalize on that right now with increased prices, even though interest rates are high.
Sure. And what do you offer for people as the benefit of working with you? What makes you different than there's a differentiation factor? What is that?
Yeah, this is what gets me really excited talking about that. There's three main things. Number one, when it comes to selling your house, we're a flat fee real estate company. We have 3 packages. So as opposed to a normal real estate agent where you go to them, you hire them, one package kind of fits all, we have 3 different packages. So we have a digital agent package, we have a local agent package, and we have a luxury package. And the digital agent and the luxury package are both flat fees. And so it is a considerable savings as opposed to a percentage-based commission. Sellers who hire us save a lot of money.
Very good. And Copley is home, and certainly there's a lot of things that go into Copley's got a great school district.
Awesome school district.
Absolutely. You can speak to this, I'm sure. But there's a lot of important driving factors in choosing a home, school district being one of them. But what are the other things you see as being important to home buyers here in Northeast Ohio?
People in Northeast Ohio love their neighbors, and they love their communities, and they like to be part of a community. Where I live in Copley, I live in a little area called Bluebird Lake, and we've got a lake in the backyard where the kids swim. There's a beach. There's a sand volleyball court. Mm-hmm. But don't tell anybody that because it's a little gem, so now I don't want everybody to know about it. But it's a great area, and Northeast Ohio people are just amazing people, and people who buy homes like to buy homes and be around great people and in great neighborhoods.
Favorite part of your job? What drives you? What keeps you in it?
Favorite part of my job, I've got 2 answers. One of them is working with people. You meet a lot of different type of people, everybody across the board, and you learn something from everybody, which is really awesome. And then number 2, the more shrewd part of me, I really like negotiating and winning. Sure. So that's a big part of it.
You like reporting good news back to?
You're like that.
Oh yeah. What advice do you give for new home buyers trying to get into this market right now? Might be a challenge.
Yep.
Or even for a person that's owned several properties and downsizing or whatever. But specifically, buying into the market right now as a new home buyer or a young family or starter, maybe somebody that's renting, thinking about buying in. Now's not a good time. That's a myth, maybe.
It's the right time to buy a house is whenever the right time for your family and your particular financial scenario. So whatever's happening in the world, whatever's happening politically in the market, interest rates, you have to make a decision that's right for you and your family. I think the most important thing is having really good advice, putting together a solid team, whether that's a real estate agent, a loan officer, a dad who understands housing and foundations, somebody who has bought homes before and understands homes and can lead you down a good path to make a good decision. Because it's probably one of the biggest financial decisions that people are going to make in their life. And so if you make a good decision now, that can ripple through your life for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years financially.
Here in Akron and around Summit, Stark, Medina, Portage, let's say, there's this idea that maybe we were protected from a bubble because the home prices didn't go California, Florida, New York through the roof, that we are more stable. Is that a fair thing? How does our market compare from things like overinflated home prices or the potential for collapse because, if the market conditions were to change? Maybe we're protected if things are a little more stable here in Northeast Ohio.
I personally feel like they are. I have family out on the West Coast, and their home prices skyrocketed 25, 30%, and those margins are huge on a $1 or $2 million house, whereas here that $1 or $2 million house might be $300,000 or $400,000. So people that have watched the increases in pricing here and feel like, oh my gosh, it's so much. You can't buy a home in another area where you have access to so many great schools, so many attractions, major league sports teams, jobs. There's really not many markets across the United States like ours where you have access to that and can get a home for the affordable price that it still is today. And I know that it's a lot of sticker shock for people as the prices increase, but in different markets, those prices would be 2 or 3 times more for the same home.
Is it a challenge now for those empty nesters looking to downsize? Speak to that market. Did that evaporate? Did people say, hey, we don't need this 4-bedroom house anymore, but we're staying put?
Yeah.
Where the trend, of course, was a condo or townhouse or a community.
Yeah.
Because you don't need the full finished basement anymore. But is that still what is that audience, that market, that group facing right now?
Yep. I've seen a couple trends. A lot of people really understand the market they're running into, but oftentimes we might run into somebody who bought a home 30 years ago, and the market and technology is totally different than it was back then. And so if you don't have a good real estate agent who understands that and can guide you, it can be a little bit confusing. The other thing, too, is there are many people who still have sub 3% interest rates. If you have a 2.85% interest rate on a $400,000 or $500,000 home, it's pretty hard to give that up in order to now go and purchase another home to downsize and potentially pay 7.25% for interest rates. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Just as an uneducated person just asking questions out of curiosity, I might assume, and maybe falsely, that some of the people downsizing would own their home and then they are a cash buyer.
Sure.
And, in Northeast Ohio, there's probably a lot of great communities for 55 plus or retirement. I find this fascinating, that Holmes County Amish country has communities that you can retire to. You've probably seen this. You ever do the trip down to southern or Amish country?
Yeah.
People are they're skipping Florida, retiring in Amish country. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion for another day.
One way to do it.
But to wrap up, that anything I've left out, trends that you're seeing or things that you need to be educating people about, thinking about buying or selling specifically to the Akron area or Northeast Ohio. What are those things that you're seeing when you educate people?
Yeah, I would say primarily, and a lot of people have heard some of this in the news, but on August 17th of 2024, a lot of the real estate rules regarding commissions changed, and that impacted a lot of people here in Akron also. So there are many new companies because of those rule and law changes that are popping up that give both buyers and sellers new options as opposed to just choosing, the standard option of a traditional real estate agency. That stuff is just starting to come to the surface, and I think you'll see a lot more of that over the next year in 2025 here in Akron.
Sure. Well, very good. Well, thank you for taking the time. It's always good to educate the audience. Just put good information out there so people can make informed decisions. So,
thanks for having me, Dan.
Thanks, Kevin, for being with us. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.